Okay, it's a journey through John. We're in John chapter 6. We're looking at verses 1 through 15, the famous feeding of the 5,000. Here's some things to think about before we read. They counted the men, so there's likely even more people, but the 5,000 is a rough estimate, I'm suspecting, of the men who were fed. Something else to consider as we read through this, it was the Passover, and the Passover is a time when Jesus saved his people from the oppressors in Egypt, and they had a feast to remember this every year. It's a very, very significant time, and they were led out into the wilderness where they had nothing, and God provided them manna to eat, and God he was their provider. He was showing them that not only did he save them, he was their great provider. And then we're going to hear about this prophet they thought who was coming. That comes from Deuteronomy 18, verses like 15 through 18. This promise of the prophet like Moses who would come and lead the people. Watch for him. He's a big deal. And so there's just a lot going on. One more thing to think about. We're going to read about this boy who had lunch, bread. But all of this bread and all of these fish that were made, these are fish that never swam in the sea, bread that was never actually baked. Jesus is having a creation event moment to show. I mean, it's a miraculous sign. And everybody ate to their fill. 12 baskets left over. Each one of those disciples with their own basket to pick up the leftovers. It's like an object lesson for every one of them. Let's go ahead and read John chapter 6, verses 1 through 15. After this, Jesus went away to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias. And a large crowd was following him because they saw the signs he was doing on the sick. Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat down with his disciples. Now the Passover, the feast of the Jews, was at hand. Lifting up his eyes then, and seeing that the large crowd was coming toward him, Jesus said to Philip, "Where do we buy bread so that these people may eat?" He said this to test him, for he knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread would not be enough for each of them to get a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, "There is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what are they for so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down, about 5,000 in number. Jesus then took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed to them those who were seated. So also the fish, as much as they had wanted. And when they had eaten their fill, he told his disciples, "Gather up the leftover fragments, that nothing may be lost." So they gathered them up and filled 12 baskets with fragments from the 5 barley loaves left by those who had eaten. When the people saw the sign that he had done, they said, "This is indeed the prophet who is to come into the world." Perceiving then that they were about to come and take him by force and make him king, Jesus withdrew again to the mountain by himself. I have gone to some fairly large church meals, maybe 200 people. The line is long. There's somebody serving, and it just seems like they're serving and they're serving and they're serving. It just takes forever. And by the time, it's halfway through the line, the people who went in first are already done eating. People in the back of the line haven't eaten yet. This is just an event that takes forever. How long must this have taken, where Jesus is continually making this bread, making the fish, and they're just passing it and passing it and passing it and passing it. What an event. This never-ending, miraculously huge feast. 5,000 men, and probably more with the women and children, feasting with leftovers. That God is the great provider. Just get your head around the magnitude of that. That's a sign. That's no small little thing. That's not just the punchline for little jokes. This is serious. This is the one that's been promised. This is God in that pattern of salvation and provision. And now Jesus is showing his people that he is the provider, that he is the one they've been waiting for, the Messiah, the prophet. Just reflect on that. Just stop and think about the magnitude of that. Imagine yourself there. Imagine in that moment. This is the Jesus we get to know. This is the one whom gives life. This is our Savior. Let's just meditate on that.